Hello, our dear guests, you are most welcome to this graduation ceremony. My name is Blam Mayanja, the MC for today, and I'm being assisted by Madame Linda. It's with great delight to have you today as you witness the 48th graduation at the Lord Development Center, whereby a total of 1,014 graduates will receive their various diplomas. I have been duly informed that the guest of honor for the day, who is none other than the land professor, Frederick Edward Sempewa, is already here. I'm also aware that the chairperson of the management committee, my Lord Justice Paul Mugamba, is here. The present Uganda Law Society has also arrived, and a number of dignitaries. I'll request that when the entry of the guest of honor arrives, we all stand up to welcome them, and thereafter we shall go through the respective national anthems. We shall go through the respective national anthems. I want to recognize the presence of Madame Margaret Nabakoza, Acting Secretary Law Council. You are most welcome to this graduation ceremony. In the same measure, I want to recognize the presence of Madame Ejanga Margaret, who is representing the Acting Chairperson, Uganda Human Rights Commission. In the same measure, I want to recognize the presence of Mr. Philip Odoch, who is representing the Chairperson, Uganda Law Reform Commission. As I told you, a number of VIPs are arriving. I can see at the venue one of the senior members at the management committee, Mr. Wamasebu. You are most welcome, sir. So any time from now, we shall be having the entry of the guest of honor arriving. And like I said, as they come in, we shall all stand up to receive them and to be followed by the playing of the respective anthems. I thank you. I want to further recognize the presence of my Lord Jane Francis Abodo, the DPP, Director, Public Prosecutions of the Republic of Uganda. My Lord, you are most welcome to this graduation. Thank you for coming. Can we resume our seats? The procession is coming. It will be at the venue within the next 1 minute. It will be in the venue within the next 1 minute. Like I said, we shall all stand up to welcome the procession, and thereafter we shall go through the respective anthems. The procession is entering any minute from now. Any minute from now, we are having our procession. We are having our procession. Let's stand up and receive our procession. Let's go through the anthems. can resume our seats. Our dear guest of honor for today, the Honorable Senior Counsel, Professor Frederick Edward Sempewa, Chairperson of the Committee of Legal Education and Training Law Council, and Senior Partner Katende Sempewa Advocates. My Lord, the Chairperson of the Management Committee of the Law Development Center, Justice Paul Mugamba, Justice of the Supreme Court, my Lord, the DPP of the Republic of Uganda, Madam Jane Francis Abodo, the Land Council, Madam Fiona Wall, the President of the Uganda Law Society, the Acting Secretary of the Law Council, Madam Margaret Nabakoza, the representatives of the various constitutional commissions here present. I recognize the presence of Madam Ejanga Margaret, who is representing the acting chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. I also recognize the presence of Mr. Philip Odochi, representing the chairperson, Uganda Reform Commission. Other dignitaries on the management committee, like Mr. Wamasebo present, the Director, Law Development Center, the Secretary, Law Development Center, the Academic Registrar, Law Development Center, the heads of Department of Law Development Center present, the Assistant Director present, all managers and heads of subject present, and the respective lecturers present, and the entire staff of LDC, our dear parents who have been supporting us by sending us the children to study at LDC, our dear graduates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me, Mr. Guest of Honor, to take the singular honor to welcome you officially to the Development Center when it's celebrating its 48th graduation day. Today, the 11th day of June, the year of our Lord, 2021. Professor, today you are going to preside over a ceremony where a total number of 1,014 graduates will be conferred various diplomas. At the bar course, at LDC, we have two teaching departments. We have the Department of Law and Continuing Education, under which we have graduates who have qualified for the award of a diploma in human rights. These ones totals to 79 graduates. We also have those who have qualified for the award of a diploma in law. They total to 645. Then we have those who have qualified for the award of a diploma in legal practice. They are a total of 290 graduates. So these are the people you are going to confer upon the various awards today. I want, on my behalf and on behalf of LDC, to welcome you to the to LDC and this function. With your indulgence, I want to take you through the program for today. It's at page 4 of our graduation booklet. We shall have an address by the Director, Law Development Center. We shall also have an address by the President, Uganda Law Society. This will be followed by the address by the Chairperson, Management Committee. We shall thereafter pause a little with some music interlude. And thereafter, the Director LDC will call upon the various heads of department, beginning with the head of department of law and continuing education, to present the successful graduates for the award of Diploma in Human Rights and Diploma in Law, in that order. We shall then have the director invite the head of department or postgraduate to present the successful graduates who have qualified for the award of a Diploma in Human Rights. After that, we shall have to recognize the various distinctions which students have attained. For example, we should be honoring a list of those who have graduated with first class diplomas in legal practice. Then there will be an award of various prizes to the best performers. And then this will be followed by an address by our dear guest of honor. And after that, we shall go through the various anthems, starting with East Africa National Anthem, and thereafter the director will receive you in his office to sign the book for the guests. Guest of honor, permit me at this moment to request Madam Gillian Tumushabe to give us a word of prayer. And as she comes, I want to acknowledge the fact that this is a unique ceremony whereby we are conducting it at a time when the country is besieged with a pandemic, which is COVID-19. We would be having a bigger number, but because of the pandemic, we are having a smaller group. And like any other family, we have suffered losses of our staff and our students. I want us to observe a moment of silence as we recognize the departure of our friends, including Mr. Kabogo Zamsoke, who was buried 2 days ago. He has been a lecturer at LDC. He succumbed. We also want to recognize the departure of our 3 students who were Bamuine Joram. He was at Mbarara campus. We also lost Mr. Obomowumba Philip and Hafiz Badru. However, these students have died due to other ailments. Unfortunately, they have not been able to complete their courses. So we need to observe a moment of silence in honor of their souls. Thank you. Madam Gillian.
Let us humble ourselves and pray. Father Almighty, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life amidst this pandemic. We thank you for this graduation, to see that it has come to pass. We thank you for the management of LDC, the students that are yet to graduate, those physically here and those watching online. Thank you for the parents of these students. Lord, we thank you for the guests, and we commit this function into your hands, that it will be successful and the glory will go back to you, O Lord. Thank you for your love upon us, and we pray that you keep protecting us amid these tough times that we are going through. In the name of Jesus Christ we have prayed. Amen.
Thank you so much, my land sister, Gillian Tumushabe, for the wonderful prayer. Now, for the benefit of our graduates and the parents, it's my pleasure to reaffirm that our guest of honor today is none other than Senior Counsel, the Land Professor Frederick Edward Sempewa. Professor Sempewa is a brand name in the legal profession of Uganda. He holds a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of East Africa, which obtained in 1968. In 1969, together with the Senior Counsel, Katende, they opened up a law firm which is still existing today under the name of Katende, Sempewa and Company Advocates, usually abbreviated as CATS. In 1970, the land professor went for further studies at Queen's University, Belfast, Ireland, and has since provided excellent legal services, both as a lecturer, an author, and a personal advocate. He has taught at a number of universities, including Makerere University, the University of Zambia, and the University of Dar es Salaam. He has served the country in a number of capacities, not only as a private practitioner, but he has held a number of commissions. For example, he was on the team of those who were preparing our current constitution. He also chaired a committee which reviewed the need for some amendments in it. And he has an outstanding career spanning to over 50 years as a legal practitioner. So we could not have a better guest of honor than Senior Counsel Professor Edward Sempewa today. To some of you who have been studying civil litigation, you remember that in the week of civil litigation, when we were looking at execution, I gave you one of the cases where he was a party. It was Edward Sempewa versus the Attorney General, Constitutional Petition number 1 of 1986. He was basically challenging legal notes number 8 of 1986, insofar as it was, in his view, found to be inconsistent with the right to property. And it bears a good principle on what amounts to property. In other words, as a decree holder then, the court agreed with him that a decree is property. So you can see how our guest of honor has built our jurisprudence, has published widely, and indeed, we are so privileged to have Professor Sempewa today. So with those remarks, I want to ask my co-MC, Madam Linda, to come and invite the Director, Lord Volume Center, to give his remarks. Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Senior Blam Mayanja. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor to invite the legend who leads this institution, the man who carries the heavy weight of leading us, who takes all the blame and not nearly enough the credit that he deserves, our Commander-in-Chief, our Director, Mr. Frank Nigel Othembi. Ladies and gentlemen, a resounding applause.
Thank you, our MCs, and thank you for giving me space so that we can be sufficiently social distanced for me to remove my mask as I make my address. Professor Frederick Sempewa, Senior Counsel, Chairperson of the Committee on Legal Education and Training of the Law Council, Advocate, and our guest of honor today. My Lord, the Chairperson, and members of the Management Committee who are with us here today. My Lord, the Chairperson of the LDC BACOS Advisory Board and the Legal Aid Clinic Advisory Boards. The Justices and Judges of the Courts of Judicature. The Director of Public Prosecutions, who has been a long supporter of LDC. The President, Uganda Law Society. Representatives of the various JLOS institutions. Lecturers and staff. Distinguished guests. Our parents. Our graduates, represented here by three of our finest. Ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome you to LDC's 48th graduation ceremony, when we pass out yet another group of students who have successfully completed various courses at the Law Development Center. We are extremely honored to have you, Professor Sempewa, as our guest of honor for this function. Your contribution to legal education and training in general, and to the BACOS in particular, is legendary. Your commitment to quality control in the profession, despite the various challenges that we have faced as a legal profession, and to making the legal profession what it is today, is one that cannot be overstated. You have shaped, you have nurtured, you have mentored, and you have touched the lives of many thousands of lawyers, including guest of honor, this speaker, whom you taught the law of contract as a first-year law student many years ago. I remember with fondness, guest of honor, your humor, your fine legal mind, and that left an indelible mark on very many of us. You have shown us what it means to practice law as an honorable profession, and you have always led by example. We are grateful, guest of honor, that you have accepted to grace this occasion as guest of honor for today. Let's give our guest of honor a hand clap. I congratulate all of you who are going to graduate today. I know it has not been an easy journey. Many of your colleagues are not here with us today, especially those on the bar course. And we know that the journey ahead still has hurdles, but we shall definitely overcome. We are aware that there are many reasons for the academic challenges that we are facing, not least of which has been the unprecedented challenges of COVID-19, the pandemic that we are having to deal with, and that seems to be growing in bounds and strength. We, as an institution, will be looking both internally and externally in partnership with our other stakeholders on measures that we can do and put in place to mitigate these challenges, and on what can be done to improve performance at the center. I am aware that the guest of honor, who has been involved with legal education in this country for many years, and is chairperson, as I said, of the Committee on Legal Education and Training, has a very keen interest in performance at LDC. May I also suggest, guest of honor, that we need to take a keen interest in the quality of legal education being offered by the many universities accredited to offer the Bachelor of Laws. I think that's an area we need to look at quite keenly. Guests of honor, as you're aware, until recently, applicants to the bar course were subjected to a pre-entry examination administered by the Law Council. In 2019, the pre-entry exam was suspended for a period of 2 years. Indeed, LDC was among the institutions that supported the lifting of pre-entry. And we remember at that point, guests of honor, we gave the stakeholders our assurance that LDC would maintain our high academic standards as the final gatekeeper. Because now all the gates are open, from primary to secondary to the universities, the gates are wide open. The only gatekeeper left is LDC. And we are going to play our role as the final gatekeepers in the legal profession. Guests of honor, we have kept our word. And this partly explains the current poor performance on the bar course. We need to note that there are actually students from other years who sat the same exams from 2017, 18, 19, and earlier years, and had a pass rate of about 70%. We also take solace in the fact that the vast majority of our students will have to do retakes, but are going to graduate, and in a few months will be able to join the legal profession. I reinstate, without any fear or favor, that LDC shall maintain its high academic standards. We shall not lower the bar at the bar, so to speak, simply because we want to manage numbers, and simply because, guests of honor, the bar course is not a popularity contest. We are not there to be popular with the public. I must also congratulate our diploma students, the diploma in law and diploma in human rights, for the excellent standards they exhibited in performance. The performance this year for the diploma courses has been among the best in our history, with about 30% of the students graduating with first-class diplomas, and a pass rate of between 80 to 90% for the various courses. This year, we are pleased to have opened our Lira campus. This is complementing the campus we have at Kampala and Mbarara. We extend an invitation to you, our guest of honor, and the members of CLET. You visited the main campus last year. We invite you to visit our Mbarara and our Lira campuses when we return to some degree of normalcy. I think it will help a lot in understanding the activities we are carrying out in the field and the training that we are carrying out. For the first time in LDC's history, we have adopted a system of classification of the diploma in legal practice. And this had always been in place for the other courses, but now it applies for the diploma in legal practice. This was a result of adopting best practices and following our benchmarking visits to Nigeria School of Law and other places, and other training institutions. We have also found it wise to recognize effort, particularly with the increasing number of students. And it is one of the ways that the employers out there can know that out of these 2,000 students, perhaps one or two have gone a step further in attaining academic excellence. I heartily congratulate those who have excelled on the bar course and other courses, and they will be recognized at an appropriate time. The bar course students who have got the first class are joining what we call the Director's Honors List, and they will also be recognized appropriately. Normally at a function like this, we recognize the 15 top performing students in the various courses, and we give them awards and prizes. Unfortunately, guest of honor, today we are not able to have our students with us here. We have only 3 top performing students who are here with us physically, accompanied by their parents, or at least by one guest. And these 3 will be awarded here. The others, we shall arrange an award ceremony at an appropriate time. May I request, guest of honor, that our best performing students stand up at this moment for recognition. Our best student in the diploma in human rights, the best student in the diploma in law, and the best overall in the bar course. Can we give them an applause? Yes. You may be seated. Our guest of honor, we are currently grappling with the challenges of managing big numbers. We have a population of about 2,000 bar course students. LDC probably took about 30 years before graduating 2,000 students. But we currently have 2,000 bar course students in one intake at the 3 campuses. We have more than 1,000 students undertaking other courses. As you can imagine, our human and material resources are stretched, quite thin. In addition, we are battling the COVID-19 pandemic. As we speak, as the guest of honor, you were told by our MC, we are among the institutions that have been closed for 6 weeks, and our academic program has been disrupted. We have suffered illness and loss like any other people in the LDC family. So today's graduation ceremony has therefore been limited to only 20 attending physically, and we have over 1,000 who are graduating online. But we believe strongly that apart from keeping up with government guidelines, the health and safety of our students is paramount. And we pray that as a nation, we shall soon overcome this scourge. I will end by saying thank yous to all who have contributed to our success and to the success of our training programs. Our development partners, including JLOS and others who have funded our various activities, the Uganda Law Society, that has been a steadfast partner in everything that we do and in our training. The organizations and law firms that have sponsored various prizes, the DPP, the Uganda Human Rights Commission, the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, the Principal Judge, and many other law firms and organizations that have sponsored prizes to recognize excellence. The Attorney General, who has always been there to give us policy guidance. The chairperson and members of the management committee for effective oversight. Our lecturers and staff of LDC, our long-suffering lecturers. We don't appreciate you enough. We are always there to abuse and insult and criticize, but you are doing a fantastic job in very difficult circumstances. Our external advisors and facilitators, including various judges who have supported our teaching. Our students, who are our valued customers. The parents who have stood by us through thick and thin. The various service providers who have made this event what it is today. Despite being a small, intimate event with only 20 people, it has been really very well organized. And for that, I thank the indefatigable Paul Mchivi, the chairperson of the organizing committee, and the members of his committee for organizing a wonderful function. Paul, Chairman, can I ask you to just come forward and take a bow, and we give you a hand clap for a job well done. Remember, that is Paul Mchivi, who chaired our organizing committee. I thank all of you for being part of this unique event, and I wish our students, our graduates, the very best on this graduation day and in their future careers. I thank you all.
I want to take this opportunity of thanking the director, LDC, for the wonderful message he has passed across. He has emphasized 3 things. Number 1, he said the bar course is not a contest of popularity, which is a call for hard work. And he has emphasized that LDC will keep ensuring that as the final gatekeeper to the legal profession, it only sieves out and lets out the best to the society. He has also been able to recognize the big numbers the nation is grappling with, and we hope we shall be able to manage with the support of the various support from government and other state organizations. And finally, he has thanked whoever has given a hand to LDC to ensure that our programs succeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Director, for that communication. In the same way, since our commander has been visibly noticed, it's only fair to also recognize his generals and lieutenants. So at this juncture, with your indulgence, guest of honor, allow me to recognize some of the key staff working at LDC, together with whom we are pushing the institution. I'll begin by recognizing the presence of Madam Joy Apofia Badebye. Might you want to stand up for recognition? Madam Badebye is the head Department of Finance and Planning of LDC. We can't thank you enough for the services you have rendered. I also want to recognize our academic registrar, LDC, Dr. Evarist Turaikayo. Can you stand up for recognition? Our students, this is Dr. Turaikayo, and when it comes to looking for your certificates and transcripts, he's the gentleman. Dr. Turaikayo does not work alone. He has a number of assistants, including Madame Mary Nachigozi and Mr. Sozi Leonard. But because we have to maintain a distance, they are in the other tent. In the same measure, allow me to recognize Madame Annette Karunji Mutabingwa, who is the head of the BACOS. My boss, I can't thank you enough. Then I want also to recognize Mr. Precious Beinga Ngabirano, who is the head of the Department of Law and Continuing Education. Then in the same vein, allow me to recognize the presence of Madame Rachel Rubowa. Madame Rachel Rubowa, kindly stand up, is our Assistant Director in charge Mbarara campus. She has been assigned a special function at this graduation. She'll be reading out the names of the best students for the purposes of giving them their various prizes and awards. So, Madame Rachel, just prepare for that responsibility when the time comes. We also have Mr. Paul Muchibi. Mr. Paul Muchibi is heading the Department of Law Reform, Law Reporting and Research at the Law Development Center. Like he had already been recognized, he is the chairperson of the management of the organizing committee of this current graduation ceremony. Mr. Muchibi, we appreciate your valuable work. Also present here is Mr. Albert Sibuta Mori. Mr. Mori, might you want to stand up? Mr. Mori is a head of subject in the Department of Law Reform and Continuing Education. He also facilitates on criminal proceedings at the BACOS. On my right here is a wonderful lady, Madame Nalongo Linda Alinda. Linda Alinda is a head of subject, heading moot and trial advocacy at the BACOS. She is also responsible she's the coordinator of online programs at the BACOS, rather at the entire LDC. Linda, we appreciate your services. Thank you. Then we have a senior system administrator present here, Madame Mariam Namukasa. Namukasa, please stand up for recognition. She has been responsible for a lot of ICT roles, which has enabled our students to study smoothly. Then I think it's also fair. Yes, on my right, I can see Madame Jillian Tumushabe. Madame Tumushabe is the assistant executive to the director. Madam, can you stand up for recognition? Then I also have a wonderful lady here who is responsible for students' affairs. She's none other than Madame Maureen Kemigabo. Thank you, Maureen. Then finally, I think I can introduce myself. I am Blam Mayanja, a lecturer of LDC, who is also the head civil litigation at the BACOS. Thank you so much. We now want to continue with our program. And at this juncture, we are going to request the Director, Law Development Center, to invite the President of the Uganda Law Society, Senior Counsel Wall, to come and give her address. Mr. Director, sir.
Thank you. It is my singular honor to invite my friend, my sister, the President of the Uganda Law Society, to come and give her address. Madam President, you're welcome.
My lords, I beg your indulgence to remove this. Our guest of honor, Professor Frederick Sempewa, Senior Counsel and Chairperson of the Committee on Legal Education and Training of the Law Council, my Lord Chairperson and members of the Management Committee, LDC, Honorable Justice Paul Kaihabale Mugamba, my Lord, my Lord Chairperson of the LDC Bar Advisory Board and the LDC Legal Aid Clinic Advisory Board, the Director, LDC, Mr. Frank Nigel Othembi, my lords and ladies and justices of justices of the Courts of Judicature, my lord the Director of Public Prosecutions, lecturers and staff of LDC, distinguished guests, parents, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. I would like to extend warm greetings from the Executive Council, membership, and the management of the Uganda Law Society. I want to thank the Law Development Center and its management for the invitation to address you on this 48th graduation ceremony. I believe this is the first graduation ceremony in the year of COVID. So I congratulate all of you on this achievement, because it's no mean feat with everything that we are facing. I'd like you to clap your hands for everybody that has made this possible. Congratulations go out to each of the graduates and their parents who have invested a lot. To the graduates on receiving your postgraduate diploma in legal practice and also the other achievements we've had today. Special congratulations again to your families and to those that have contributed to your education, your lecturers and teachers, for the significant sacrifices they've made. With this ceremony, to the graduates, you are marked as different. You take on a responsibility above and apart from the rest of the public. You accept new obligations, standards, and principles that henceforth you will adhere to always. We want to thank the Law Council, who is the regulator for the education or for the legal education in Uganda, for their contribution to today. To the management and staff of the Law Development Center, it has been a bit of a thankless task with everything that has gone on, but we appreciate the innovations in the year of COVID. This is the same year that we saw the expansion of LDC to 3 campuses, and we appreciate that because it has increased the numbers. We now have about 12 universities that are releasing law students, and having one LDC campus was unrealistic. We want to applaud the embracing of technology by the LDC, because this year we saw the beginning of online courses at LDC. If you had told me this when I was a student here studying in tents, I would not have believed you. So we want to appreciate that. In this COVID pandemic time, it's our hope and prayer that we shall continue this wave of innovations. Of course, the elephant in the room has been what happened to those that are not here today. And we, as the Uganda Law Society, will join our efforts with the management and the regulator to see that real amends are made, that real changes are made to this whole system. The Uganda Law Society is a corporate body established by the Uganda Law Society Act, whose mission is to improve the professional development and standards of the members of the legal profession, to promote human rights and the rule of law in Uganda, to advise government on all matters incidental to the law and good governance, and also to ensure that we increase access to justice. Our membership stands at 3,700, and there could not have been a better time to practice law. Why do I say this in the year of COVID? As we stand, the ratio of lawyer to individual in Uganda is 1 to 19,000. Right now, we have 3,700 lawyers serving 50 million Ugandans. And unfortunately, 95% of these lawyers work and stay in Kampala, which has only a population of about 4 million people. So my lords and our chief guest, you can see that we need lawyers today more than ever. This is the year that Uganda is signing the final investment decision to make oil and gas exploration and exploitation a reality. This is the year that we might actually mint some oil money. So this is a good year to practice the law. I needed to bring some good news, what with COVID and all these things. This is the year that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area begins to become a reality. This is the year that we need lawyers to shape what this will look like, to shape what the negotiation protocols will look like. This is the year that we need lawyers to stand at the forefront of the development agenda of this country. This is the year that for the first time we have a budget that reflects the independence of the judiciary. I think we should clap for that. I would like to applaud Parliament, the President, the government, the Chief Justice for ensuring, of course, they did not get everything that they needed in the budget, but want to thank Parliament and everybody considering the circumstances for increasing the budget for the judiciary, because this also means more employment opportunities for the young lawyers and graduates today. This is also the year that we see technology. And I think that with everything that has been happening, with COVID changing the way we do everything, this is the year that we need more young people in the practice of the law. As the Uganda Law Society, we would like to build a bar association that is faithful to its mandate to ensure and protect the rule of law, that's available to its stakeholders, that is teachable in its reputation. To the graduates today, I'd like to encourage you to be diligent in all your work, in all you do. Be diligent, because diligence will take you places. The Bible encourages us in this way. It says, do you see a man skilled at his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before common men. Choose today to be a diligent advocate. And one day you'll be like our chief guest, Professor Sempebwa, whose diligence is renowned globally. In African tradition, for those of you that might not be Christians, we say that the child who washes his hands will sit with the elders. And I do hope that today you will decide to sit with your elders. I'd like to applaud the government. I know that there's a lot of designate ministers, but we've seen the youngest cabinet we've ever had so far. And I think for me that promises a lot. And maybe some of these people have washed their hands. I encourage the graduates today to wash their hands. Washing your hands means having integrity and being accountable. You have to be accountable not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. Thirdly, learn humility. I'd like to commend the people that are before us today. My Lord, Professor Sempebwa, our DPP, Mr. Othembia, Director. These are four of the humblest, greatest leaders in this country that I know. And I think that we need to give that a big hand clap. One of the most attractive things about a successful human being is humility. As lawyers, we're called learned, and we've learned an entitled level of arrogance that repels us to the public. We need to fight this by coming back to our calling, because we exist to speak for those that do not have a voice. And in order to do that, we have to lower ourselves to their levels and speak their language. It's only humility. It's only when we wash each other's feet that we shall be relevant in this market. We are in the year of capitalism. The customer is king. The client is king. So I encourage our graduates today to embrace the humility of our chief guests today. The last thing I'd like to talk about is leadership. You exist in a world where you can become an influencer overnight. We've seen Greta Thunberg, all of 12 years, taking the world by storm because of social media and the power of globalization. Today, choose to be leaders. As lawyers, you will have no choice but to be a leader in your community. A very famous, somebody that I look up to, Dr. Eli Karhanga, says that leadership is now a factor of production. You cannot look at the economy. They cannot make decisions without looking at your leadership skills. So today, choose to hone your leadership skills. I continue to congratulate the people that are graduating today. It is a privilege that you're here. It is not normal that there can be 10% and you're here. It is a privilege. Thank God, thank your parents, and thank yourself for the hard work. Our guest of honor, as stated by the director, we do need to look at education of lawyers. In other jurisdictions, the study of law is a second degree. It is so important that you have to have a certain level of maturity to take on this course. I do not know why in Uganda any subject can get you to study law. Many years ago, I taught law in Kampala International University, and it was baffling to teach about the Declaration of the Rights of Man to somebody who had never studied about the French Revolution in history. I think that as a regulator, I hope our chairman of the Continuing Legal Education Committee we will look into the regulation of legal education right to who gets into the universities. As we speak now, we have about 12 universities. Who's regulating these universities? Who's regulating the lecturers? Who's ensuring that some of the lecturers that are teaching in more than 4 universities actually are ensuring that what they are teaching is quality? I think we need to increase accountability, not only at the LDC level, but at all levels. And as a Uganda Law Society, we pledge to give our support to this. To the graduates, the next step after today is enrollment to the bar. We have a professional development and members affairs department as the Uganda Law Society, and we're waiting for you. We shall give you all the support that you need. And because of COVID, I know that some of you cannot move. We've also automated our payment options. We've automated our services. And if you go to any of our 23 districts where we operate, our officers will be ready to ensure that you're prepared for enrollment. We encourage you to join our committees and take leadership, because as the Uganda Law Society, we are preparing you to take advantage of the opportunities that I've mentioned. We cannot deny, lastly, that the underlying unspoken fabric of the law is people. People who create cultures and in turn systems. The biggest hindrance to us building a sustainable justice system is our inability to eradicate bias and corruption, my lords and our chairperson. Corruption has eaten so deeply into the systems that justice has been brokered now outside the confines of the courtroom. It is your duty as the graduates today to decide to be a part of this fight. The fight cannot be won alone. As a bar course graduate, it begins now. It begins with you not keeping silent as you watch injustice happen. It begins with you speaking up for the marginalized among you. It begins with you showing thought leadership through writing articles in the papers. It begins with you publishing journals about the state of affairs, if only to effect policy change. It begins with you standing for the LC1 post in your community and making a difference. As President Obama says, be the change that you want to see. As I take my leave, if you're not willing to die for an ideal, then you're not worth a position of honor. The people we admire are people who are willing to die for ideals. To the graduate today, who are you? What is your why? And what do you stand for? You need to define this, because if you do not stand for something, you will fall for anything. Former US President Barack Obama again said, with a lot of uncertainty today, this is your generation's world to shape. The world will never be short of influences, but what kind will you be? And who is influencing you? Choose today who your influence will be. I want to thank the director and the management for picking an eminent advocate and senior counsel and mentor and teacher to come and speak to us today. I hope the graduates listen very carefully. I'd like to say thank you so much and congratulations to the graduates and everybody here for God and my country.
Thank you so much, my president, for those words of wisdom. It would have been discipline for me to repeat them because I'm truly incompetent to say so. But I believe they have been well understood by our dear students. Thank you so much. We are now coming to the aspect of receiving our chairperson, management committee, to come and address us. This is the board which is responsible for policy. It's the policy organ of LDC. And we have senior members of the board whom, with the indulgence of the guest of honor, I want to also recognize formally again. There is Mr. Michael Wamasebu. Mr. Mike, can you stand up for recognition? We thank you, Mike. There is also Alihaj Amisi Luchamzi Dungu. Mr. Dungu is the secretary of LDC. We thank you so much. In the interest of time, Mr. Guest of Honor, sir, allow me to request our director to come and invite my lord, the chairperson, management committee, to come and address us. Thank you.
My Lord Chair, my task is a simple one. But before I invite you, my Lord, I wish to thank you and the management committee for the work that you are doing in steering the center. We, the staff at the Secretariat, would not be able to do what we do without your support. The LDC Act is clear that our policy guidance is from the management committee. Our key directives and programs come from the management committee. And the Act gives the director powers to be the executive, to wield the executive authority of the management committee. But that authority can only be wielded with the support of the management committee. So I thank you for allowing us to deliver, for allowing us as the Secretariat to do the things that we do and to transform the center. It is my privilege to invite you, my Lord, to your first graduation ceremony. We should have had a graduation in December last year, but due to COVID circumstances, it's taking place now. So from the time you are appointed to this committee, you're presiding over your first graduation. And I warmly welcome you, my Lord, to make your address. I thank you.
Am I safe enough? Thank you, Director. Thank you, President, also for your deliveries. The guest of honor, Professor Frederick Sempebwa, Senior Counsel, Partner Katende Sempebwa, and Company Advocates, Chairperson, Committee on Legal Education and Training, Law Council, and my teacher. My Lord, Jane Frances Abodo, the Director of Public Prosecutions, members of the LDC Management Committee, the Director and entire staff of the Law Development Center, distinguished guests, parents and guardians, and can I say, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I am privileged to welcome you all to the 48th graduation ceremony when the LDC passes out yet another group of qualified women and men who have successfully completed the various courses for the academic year 2019, 2020, and previous years. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, Professor Frederick Sempebwa, Senior Counsel. We are greatly honored and privileged that you kindly accepted to officiate as guest of honor at this graduation ceremony, despite your very busy work schedule. The world over is facing serious challenges of COVID-19, otherwise known as coronavirus, and we have to adapt to the new normal. That's why I have to apologize before I remove the mask. We must change the way we operate and embrace technology. Today, we are passing out graduates whose studies were affected by COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown. I'm glad that despite challenges, they were able to complete studies and pass the various courses. I congratulate all the graduates, and I want to encourage the students who have not graduated today not to lose heart. They can still complete the bar course in future and pass. Let us see this as an opportunity upon which we can improve and do better. This ceremony is hybrid, with a few people attending physically and the majority, including graduates and parents, attending virtually. All universities have adopted hybrid graduations. What is important is not physical attendance of the ceremony, but the fact that you get qualifications. Yeah, it is interesting. There was a time when students would be forced by security officers to attend the graduation ceremony because otherwise the guest of honor would look bad. Now it is the other way around. LDC is undergoing several developments driven by the rapid changes in the environment for delivery of professional courses to lawyers and other stakeholders. Key drivers for these developments include the rapidly growing number of law schools accredited to teach the LLB and need to ensure quality teaching by the law schools. Second is strengthening of LDC's regional campuses. Then there is the need for technological innovations in teaching and learning. Skills development as a driver to enhance access to justice. Public awareness of legal knowledge and legal service provision to the indigent and the disadvantaged. Currently, the major development is decentralization of LDC services to regions of the country to enable easier access and to provide an opportunity for people who cannot come to Kampala to be able to access the services offered in their regions. LDC has established a third campus in Lira district, premised at Lira University. That is after the LDC in Kampala and the campus in Mbarara. The campus started operations in January 2021 with 362 students admitted on the bar course. We are grateful to the Governing Council and management of Lira University for accepting to host the LDC Lira campus. In a bid to expand teaching facilities, LDC is constructing a multi-storied building complex consisting of academic and administrative facilities at Kampala campus. When completed, the facilities will provide a serene learning and working environment for students and staff. Guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, LDC further strengthened its capacity to offer services as mandated by law through recruitment and training of staff, improvement of staff remuneration, acquiring additional office equipment, computerization of center operations, and increasing its capacity to generate income. However, LDC continues to face challenges of inadequate physical facilities and funds for capital development. As a way forward, LDC will mitigate the challenges through lobbying government to increase its capital development budget and engaging donors for financial support. I thank you all for listening to me, for God and my country.
I want to thank you so much, my Lord, Chairperson of Management Committee, for those kind remarks given to us and the assurance you have given us that LDC is expanding its infrastructure capacity to ensure that it can accommodate the biggest number of Ugandans seeking for legal education at the postgraduate and other programs. We can't thank you enough. We are actually doing well on time. And at this juncture, allow me, Professor, our guest of honor, to again invite our dear Director LDC to request the various heads of teaching departments to present the students who have qualified for the various awards of diplomas, and they can be conferred. Mr. Director, sir, you're most welcome.
Thank you, our MC. It is my honor to invite Mr. Precious Ngabirano, Head Department of Law and Continuing Legal Education, to present students for the award of the Diploma in Human Rights of the Law Development Center. Mr. Guest of Honor, we are going to the program which is in the folder before you, and you'll be able to follow and make the award at an appropriate time. Mr. Ngabirano, you're welcome.
Mr. Guest of Honor, allow me to present to you the following names of graduates who have fulfilled the requirements for the award of the Diploma in Human Rights of the Law Development Center. Acheng Jennifer, Achayo Teddy, Adia Lewis Lennox, Afedra Vicent, Agaba Brian, Eneviona Ivan, Akuru Susan Maria, Amigo Carvin, Apio Faith, Atim Ambrose, Ayebale Jovia Knight, Ayebazibwe Roleta, Baraka Joshua, Basemera Jacqueline, Basiji Thomas, Gambale Munubia Julius, Bwenje T. Linus, Diga Samuel, Edema Godfrey, Einau Joachim, Emol Dendrix, Iya William Moses, Jumba Vincent, Kabakari Florence, Kagoye Tony, Kahuma Jime, Kakai Judith, Kariowa Isaac, Kamia William, Galimaka, Kanyes J. Dominic, Chibukutu Tom, Chichoncho Halima, King Darius, Kwichiriza Bright, Kwizera Natasha Mariam, Korolia Alex, Chaguranyi Stephen James, Chalimpa Agatha, Majwere Ronald, Makawa Charles, Masereka Alan, Pirirwe Agnes, Mujenyi Robert, Mugume Dennis, Mugume Robert, Muhanguzi Deus, Ngaka Christopher, Nanjera Scovia, Nansubuga Sharifa, Nantunge Claire Jane, Nanyange Annette, Natulinda Emmanuel, Nkutire Ramadan, Ntambi Emmanuel, Nwasasra Agre, Nyadudi Joy, Zeuliro Swaibu, Ochwa Lawrence, Odongo Thomas, Ojik Carlos, Okanya John, Okero Patrick Milton, Okero Sandy, Okumu Geoffrey, Oranya Richard, Omoge Andrew, Osujo Moses Okrol, Owembabazi Fiona, Owini Francis, Sebwana Charles, Sechiziyivu Ivan, Tumuhaise Lilian, Twihuche Moses, Wamani Geoffrey, Kisa Comfort, Nyangoma Alice, Okero Dennis, Okero Jime Rukone, and Twesi J. Samson.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I confer upon all those persons whose names have been read the Diploma in Human Rights of the Lord Women Center.
Congratulations, and you may be seated. The next category is the Diploma in Law, and again it is my singular honor to invite Ms. Angavirano, the head of department, to come and present graduates for the award of the Diploma in Law of the Law Development Center.
Mr. Guest of Honor, allow me to present to you the following names of graduates who have fulfilled the requirements for the award of the Diploma in Law of the Law Development Center. Abasa Gerard, Abaho Shivan, Abo Daphne Gloria, Abukitoiti Gloria, Acham Helen, Achen Irene, Acheng Oliver, Adenmoon Priscilla Elachu, Adoa Julius, Adongo Harriet Vicky, Adongo College, Aero Eodina, Afidra Bakwera Alex, Agaba Moses, Agaba Ronald, Agasha Justin, Ainembabazi Maclean, Ainomugisha Prudence, Ajamugisha Kennedy, Akampulira Arnold, Akandwanawo Mugambe, Akanyizuka Clevan, Akero Isabel Masi, Akero Polly, Akero Scovia, Akero Winnie Princess, Akera Richard Loadea, Akidi Juliet Opa, Akoth Shalom, Akumu Christine, Akwale Bridget Sophie, Arum Naiti Grace, Amanya Dennis, Amanya Remy Isaac, Amatolok Francisca, Ambichire Robert, Among Sidi, Amonj Immaculate, Amonj Nora, Amonj Tracy Adiek, Ampumuzaline, Ampuriri Vangeline, Andama Moses Martin, Anecho Ringtho Stephen, Anena Sarah, Anena Shalon, Anena Simple, Anguchia Eva, Angudezu Joseph Adia, Angulia Charles Peter, Ankunda DC, Aoro Fiona, Apio Christine, Apio Angel, Apio Consolate, Apio Winnie, Aporoti Barbara Gloria, Alinda Macklin, Asasra Helen, Asianzu Sharon Sasha, Asimwe Emmanuel, Asindu Owen, Asingwire Abias, Atimu Lydia Anjinyu, Atimango Jane Francisca, Atimango Hope, Atubanjira Alex, Atuhiri Charlotte, Atukunda Praise, Atuya Immaculate, Awoja Judith, Ayebale AK Michelle, Ayebale Henry, Ayesiga Nelson, Ayesije Smith, Babidia Martha, Bafika Meme Rafarin, Baka Flavia, Baka Fred, Barianango Dan Isaac, Banada Peter Moses, Banana Abdul Ubaid, Bantu Regina, Balije James, Basemera Margaret, Bashabe Rodney, Basoma Sulaiman, Batamuliza Mary, Bayo Derek Joseph, Bazibu Emugoye John, Bero Gertrude Howini, Betungura Bewate, Bikorwa Geoffrey Charis, Birunji Allen, Birunji Beigumamo Milton, Birunji Deus, Birunji Robina, Bishanga Sara, Biyinze Kaheren Liz, Bugembe Regan, Bukenya Arnold, Businje Hope, Buyinza Enoch, Gambale Christopher, Goji Agatha, Byakatonda Naiguru Salima, Byamugisha Didas, Byaruhanga Ruben, Byaruhanga Robert, Byenume Jude, Cape Judith, Chebet Milad, Chemiyat Ian Wenyaula, Dambia Paul, Degeya Arvin Antonio, Dongo Daniel Wako, Judy Yusuf, Jim Simon, Coach Richard, Lut Solo, Elabike Joel, Eleu Alfred, Yapu Frederick, Eyatu Donato, Ezama Charles, Gachibayo Saidi Ninsima, Geriga Hassan, Geriga Tony, Gidudu Kenneth, Jira Augustine, Gorora Tebesgwa Najib, Gumisiriza Clinton, Gumisiriza James Kahire, Gwazo Francis Xavier, Hatanjimana Isaac, Himbisamu Kama Peter, Ikwala Shedrack, Indija Peace, Isabirye Frederick E, Ithungu Gertrude, Janyale Richard Onyango, Jero Emmanuel, Jagwe Musa, Kawa Inid, Kabahubia Aisha, Kabanda Majoline Gloria, Kadenge Festo Kenneth, Kahumo Zakatusi Meridia, Kahunde Florence, Kaitesi Ruth, Kajoba Gordon, Kakeire Rogers, Kakembo Ishak, Karyowa Ashraf, Kabeda Loy, Kamjisha Lona, Kamjisha Ara Salim, Kamjisha Stewart, Kamjisha Thomas, Kamukama Molini, Kankunda Melissa, Kanshabe Edina, Kanyange Micron, Kanyaryeru Augustus, Kapere Samson, Karaji Kenneth, Karunji Arajab, Karunji Mary Goret, Kasango Brian, Kasule Hussein, Katalaiha Vicent, Katende Vicent Jovin, Katongole Frederick, Katushabe Bridget, Kayagano Werin, Kayen Hope Jean, Kayera Derek, Kayihura Mark, Kayongo Bernard, Kayonjo Douglas, Kembabazi Rachel, Kemigisha Patricia, Kente Caroline, Kibirige Ivan Henry, Kibumba Timothy Samuel, Kibuka Apollo, Chiganda Rodney, Chiria Enoch, Chijumba Ashley, Chimarigo Enoch, Chimbo wa Stanley, Chimenyi Madrin, Kimera Samuel, Chinumwe Joseph, Chinarwa Sharif, Kintu Enoch, Chilabo Diana, Chilabo Kitimbo Chantal, Chisache Beatrice, Kisache Daphne, Sauzi Padi, Chitumba Ibrahim, Chiwumuro Jael, Komugisha Shivan, Komuhimbo Christine, Komuntale Faith, Kukunda Jason, Kukundakwe Kato Crescent, Kukundakwe Mark, Kutunga Wycliffe, Chabene Ivan Brian, Chabade Yoabu, Champeire Joab, Chalisima Joyce, Chasimire Charity, Chozira Christine, Laker Himolin Oyaro, Laker Nesta Sande, Rokwi Charles, Lungole, Lubega Moses, Lugasa Yasin, Lugaizi James, Lukwago Ivan Delight, Rules Rayman, Rumu George William, Rwamlungi Shira, Rwembao Stephen, Rwere Michael, Mugumba Abe, Maiso Jacob K, Makoa Godfrey, Mandela Henry, Mangeni Francis Osweri, Mangeni Ronald, Mania Liea, Manze Abel, Masambo Mark Mwesugwa, Masembe Ali, Masibo Christine, Mawa Yasin Ibrahim, Mayanja Robert, Mayengo Christopher, Mbabazi Halima, Mbabazi Jacqueline, Mesiku Roslyn, Mpamire Onesimus, Mpirirwe Ami Jones B, Mubiru Mariam, Mudonyi George, Mufachinanye Moses, Mugabe Peterson, Mugabe Newton, Mugabe Charles, Mugambe Smith Victor, Muganzi Boaz, Mugisha Joseph Bisamanza, Mugisha Philemon Dan Mutebuli, Mugisha Ronald Kagundu, Mugoya Jolly Jonah, Mugume Dan, Mugumya Alan, Muhenda Paul, Muhinda D Samuel, Muhindo Allen Grace Tasi, Muhindo Kahinda Godwins, Muhozi Brace, Muhumuza Alex, Muwezi Kenneth, Mukama Augustine, Mukisa Docas, Mukisa Isaac, Mukundane Thomas, Muchara Caroline, Mulabaji Zablon, Mulai Peace Deborah, Mulianga Robert, Munezero Edward, Mungu Ngeyo Deborah Maswa, Munguliek Jovian, Mula Juliet, Musa Francis Jadid, Musasizi Emmanuel, Musasizi Tony, Musimeje Eva Par, Musimenta Abdu, Musinguzi Edgar Fred, Musinguzi Emmanuel, Musinje Amon, Musobya Lilian, Musto Fred, Musubura Edward, Musumba Ivarin, Mutebe Alex, Mutebi Derek, Mutejech John George Timothy, Mutes Elizabeth, Mutes Esther, Muthoni Sharon Mbaye, Musoso Miriam, Muwanika Agre, Muyinda Abraham, Nganje Gideon, Ngebaza Deborah Betty, Ngebesa Junior, Ngesigwa Innocent, Ngesigwa Joseph, Nabagereka Primrose, Nabakoza Faith, Nabemanya Benon, Nabukenya Maria, Nabuma Zaina, Nafura Elizabeth, Nagaria Carol, Nagawa Hanisha, Naga Idina Muyinza, Nagudi Sara, Naiga Lilian, Naikesa Sara, Nakajubi Immaculate, Nakamoga Juliana, Nakanywaji Linda, Nakanywaji Theopista, Nakasi Lilian, Nakate Jacqueline, Naka West Juliana, Nakawoza Grace Birunji, Nakaungu Fahima, Nakayinda Caroline, Nachibuka Catherine, Nachijo Lilian, Nachimbugwa Martha Rita, Nachimera Sanyu Peace, Nachimuli Kevin, Nachitende Esther, Nachiyemba Grace Felista, Nakujini Mary, Nakosi Deborah, Nacheyune Fiona, Nachondwa Josephine, Narunga Winnie, Naruze Mire, Namagembe Janet, Namakonje Bess, Namakura Joan, Namale Brenda, Namandi Diana, Namanya Christopher, Namatovu Amina, Namwanje Daphne, Nambi Jocelyn, Namboze Nashiba, Namono Mary, Namubiru Aisha, Namubiru Gloria Josephine, Namudara Abaka, Namuganda Justin, Namugenyi Victoria, Namuga Angela, Namugobe Vicky, Namtosi Immaculate, Namngau Jacqueline, Nandita Shira, Nanguli Asman, Nanjuki Martha, Najuka, Nankambwe Pauline, Nankumba Maria, Nanyonga Cynthia Cecilia, Nantunge Lydia, Nanyombi Flavia, Nanyombi Mariam, Nanyondo Mastura, Nanyonga Jacqueline Darlin, Nanyonga Mary, Nanyonyi Stella, Nasaka Kevin, Nasanga Rachel, Nasuna Asha, Natamba Brian, Natamba Damari, Natamba Darius, Natukunda Helen, Natumanya John, Nawia Shamira, Ndajire Peace, Ndikuyera Fred, Ndyahabwe Jeffat, Negomye Mastula N, Nikesa Caroline, Neumbe Annette, Ngobi Edrin, Nguna Sandra, Niwagaba Innocent, Niwajira Amon, Niwamanya Bonani, Niyitejeka Oruga Fiona, Njauro Kwagala Brian, Korabatala Ibare Mugidu, Nkono Kenneth Ronald, Koyoyo Ezra, Nsamba Javira Rubade, Sereko Brian, Simbi Mohamed, Nsoli Docas, Ntereire Comfort, Ntongo Laura Josephine, Nuwajira Eric, Nuwaireza Shiba, Nuwandinda Anthony, Nuwandinda Edna, Nuwagawa Francis, Nuwasasra Dan, Nuwatejeka Ephraim, Obuwa Dennis Ray, Ochom Patrick, Ochiti Chris, Odongo Daniel Odra Isaac, Ogeni Mungu Patrick, Ogwaru Isaac, Ogwaru Tony, Ogwang Boniface Pius, Ogwang Julius Peter, Ojambo Luke Mlengi, Ojambo Stephen Odemo, Ojok Tony, Ojoro Ambrose, Ojura Michael, Okero Andrew Job, Okero Bernard, Okero Boniface, Okero Emmanuel Raphael, Okero John Stephen, Okero Albert Otwar, Okero Amos, Okero Francis Goodwill, Oktela Yeku, Okoli George Patrick, Okwankunda Betty, Okonga Alan, Oraru Gerald, Oro Gerald Opero, Orport Bernard Ivan, Omara Bonnie, Omita Simon, Omoge Emmanuel, Odonga Innocent, Onyabo Kidega Samuel, Onyagura Joseph, Onyami Gipsy Mary, Opado Alex, Opejo Samuel Kokas, Opeku Mishach, Opodo Linda, Olena Emmanuel, Oliamo Amis, Olichiriza Godfrey, Olinga Lawrence, Olingi Caesar, Oriono Mohammed, Osiet Matthew, Osikei Cuthbert, Otimu Emmanuel, Otimu Geoffrey Ochora, Otimu Ivan, Ouma Peter Jr., Owino Ronald, Owole James, Owole Moses, Oyat Samuel, Oyuji Sisto, Oyuro Gabriel, Praise Patricia, Rachara Celestino, Ruhakana Gilbert, Lukaye Maliko, Saidi Rukia, Lukaja Ivan Kimtai, Sawani Ronald, Sekito Swaibu, Semwegere James, Sengo Michael Zeron, Serumaga David, Simali Baldrick Elijah, Sekamate Yusuf, Semanda Mudathiru, Sempara Patrick, Sempebga Natava Carol, Senoga Ronald, Selavide Christine, Seremba Chizito, Sonko Ivan, Takei Gabriel, Tarage Moses, Tashushana Geoffrey, Taremwa Moses Gwakasheija, Tugume Edward, Tugume Gwabgeremi, Tuhamye Bennett, Tukachungurwa Garasius, Tukei Augustine, Tumuhameho Richard, Tumuhimbise Hirale, Turaikayo Elifaz, Turyahabwe Gaston, Turyasingura Gladys, Tusimeje Johnson, Tusubira Angel Tracy, Twambazimana Aaron, Twinomugisha Godlive, Twonjirwe Joshua, Wabona Noah, Wafura Rogers, Wambede Emmanuel, Wambuzi Joshua, Wamimbi Gilbert, Wandera Patrick, Wandukwa Stephen, Wani Michael Mobe, Watongora Asman, Wayona Miria, Waniyae Zion, Yeko Travisan, Zigaba Ezra, Abena Choroy, Ngocha, Achani Joyce Bodo, Agaba Ibrahim, Aine Mukama Haddison, Ainomujisha Umar, Ajilong Scovia, Akankwasa Esmas, Alolo Festo, Amanzuru Nobat, Amoko Priscilla Flavia, Anyao Samuel, Atulinda Teddy, Auma Lona, Ayebale Brea, Babidiye Aisha Sendagire, Babidiye Barbara, Babgetera Didas, Baganga Imon, Birunji Hadija, Birunji Rusi, Bonjirwe Dixon, Damzungu Isaac Deans, Draleru Harriet, Drisil Stephen, Ekachelan Cletus, Enyondo Ivan Kenneth, Gumisiriza Derek B, Gumisiriza Dennis, Habasa James K, Karama Joel Philip, Kafumbe Abe, Kagwa Nixon Kalema, Karuba Shafik, Kandaluku Emmanuel, Kato Benson, Kawara Esther, Kayinga Brolin, Kayondo Uthman, Kambeda Roy, Chichoncho December, Chiyizi Davis, Chizito Adnan, Kotura Boniface Inzimi, Kutosi Emmanuel Maleka, Kuyechin Fortunate, Chalikunda Fortunate, Lassa Sura Sande, Rokwi Tony Chaudhry, Loti Calvin, Maiso Bernard, Matende Musa, Mirembe Desire, Mirembe Joyce, Mugerwa Ashraf, Mujisha Brian, Muhozi Dixon, Muhumuza George, Mujuni Wenceslas, Mukisa Shamim, Muleme Regan Desire, Mulindwa Kenneth Raymond, Musabe Erina, Musasizi Nathan, Bazarel, Musinguzi Edgar Friday, Musinguzi Joseph, Muwanga Christopher, Nganje Hassan Hussein, Nabagarashina Doreen, Nabachibi Rose, Nabatanzi Rose, Nabumba Peace, Nagawanuru Nawera Praise, Naiga Noerin, Najuko Rebecca, Nachigude Caroline, Narumansi Natharia, Namara Sandra, Nambumba Daphne, Namubiru Sharifa, Namudera Peace Gloria Chereni, Namugewini Docas, Nantaba Sharon, Nanunji Harriet Zalia, Nanyonjo Sheila, Nasoro Mariam, Natoli Ivan, Ngobi Edrin, Ngobi Simon Peter, Sereko Mastura, Sereko Patrick Mabirizi, Nuwamanya Nobat, Nyamaizi Feda, Nyombi Haruna, Odongo Gerard Harold, Odongo Joseph Walter, Okao Michael Dunston, Okero Isaac, Okiroro Emmanuel K, Onguti Matthew Otto, Onyango David, Piroya Sharon Vivian, Rachara Aaron Trust, Rujumba Patrick, Sebina Alex, Selaji Yusufu, Seumusu Michael, Senaburia Isaac, Tumuhimbise Howard, Tumusime Daniel, Tumusime Geoffrey, Warijira Gloria, Watiho Arumasi, Zirimenya Paul, Alpha Isa, Ayoroth Deborah, Kamanyire Sami, Chihirwa Braze, Mujuzi Frederick, and Musimenta Harriet.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I confer upon all those persons whose names have been read the Diploma in Law of the Lord Women's Center.
Thank you all for staying with us until now. It is now my pleasure to again invite our director, who shall not tire. These are the burdens of a big job, to invite the next list of graduates.
Thank you, MC. It is my honor and privilege to invite the head of the Bar Course Department, the Department of Postgraduate Legal Studies, Mrs. Annette Mtavingwa, to come and present candidates who have qualified for the award of the Postgraduate Diploma in Legal Practice, otherwise known as the Bar Course of LDC.
Our dear guest of honor, it's my privilege to present to you the following graduates who have qualified for the award of the Postgraduate Diploma in Legal Practice of the Law Development Center. Abo Brenda, Abwango Emmanuel, Achinga Jemima, Ajita Beth, Aguero Winnie Lydia, Ahimbisibwe Eric, Ahumuza Christiana, Ahura Rachel, Aikize Doreen, Ainembabazi Sheila, Ainomugisha Erica, Ajuang Mary Goret, Akampa Vicky Bright, Akankwasa Brian, Akena Junior, Aketo Barbara, Akitwi Maureen, Akumu Gloria Brick, Alinda Bennett Xavier Francis, Amaguru Caroline, Amahoro Abigail, Mahijiji, Anyango Jacqueline, Anyango Okech Winnie, Apio Enid, Aporo Didis, Asasira Athen, Asimwe Anita Patience, Asimwe Brian, Asimwe Christine, Asimwe Crispus, Asimwe Rita, Atenga Deborah, Ataile Gideon, Atkwase Maureen, Atlinda Raymond Mugisha, Auma Letitia, Ayebare Rachel, Ahimbisibwe Doreen, Ayebazibwe Edgar, Ayebazibwe Isaac, Ayesiga Laban, Ayesiga Ruth, Baya Emmanuel, Babidye Gladys, Babiemba Patience, Bagonza Daniel, Baruch Geoffrey, Basisi Aran, Vegasira Aaron, Vesigwa Emmanuel, Vigabwa Robin Roy, Bikaku Davis, Binta Nkuranga Kiara, Bukenya Kenneth Edmond, Busobozi Henry Wycliffe, Uyinza Joshua Muyanja, Bwaya Farouk, Bwire Dennis, Byaruhanga Anita Nicole, Byaruhanga Frank Martin, Chandiru Mire, Cheptoek Nancy, Gara Karim, Gidongo Martin, Dudu Linda, Gift Luate Emmanuel, Guram Hussein Dawood, Guma James Itima, Habyarimana Matia, Ikilai Mary, Ipara David, Isanga Hafsa Swabra, James Bond Michael Dennis, Kabachwezi Susan, Kabagweri Zaina, Kabahima Innocent, Kabazare Martha, Kagoya Nampara Zahara, Kaja Timothy, Kajumba Karoli, Kakoma Edgar, Kakuma Geoffrey, Kamregeya Rashid, Kange Stanley, Kansemire Elizabeth Angela, Kansime Drare Vilije Jr., Kansime Hilda, Kasasire Brian, Kasirye Carlton Douglas, Kato N. Nicholas, Kato Roman Peter, Katshabe Shamim, Kavuma Peter, Kawara Catherine, Kawesi John Chris, Kawoya Henry, Kayanja Dennis, Kayemba Edward, Kebilungi Martha Ayebare, Chibumba Andrew, Chichoncho Jovas, Chiganda Ismail, Chigundu Kabugo Edwin, Chigundu Augustine, Chintu John Stanley, Chintu Uthman, Chisache Patrick Armstrong, Chisache Sandra Nina, Chizito Fahad, Kukunda Mavias, Kunihira Proskovia, Kunyiga Derek Chizito, Kutesa Gloria, Kutosi Emmanuel, Kwagara Sarah Winfred, Chargonza Nicholas, Chambade Andrew Mukasa, Chambade Raymond, Chasa Flavia Xavier, Chaterekera Christine Jr., Chomugisha Brenda, Ladu Morris Emmanuel, Latigo Lamoro V. Fiona, Leni Sharon Pamela, Lokiru Deogracias, Rubogo Emmanuel, Rubama Tendo, Lule Xavier Francis, Rwaniaro Abdu Marik, Rutaya Aran Mark, Rutaro Isaac, Luaga Emmanuel, Ruanga Emmanuel Ogang, Rwensisi Joanita, Mate Geoffrey, Magambo Grace, Marunda Jerry Patrick, Maluga Christine, Masaba Amidu, Mawadri Matthew Douglas, Maude Salim, Mayanja Noah, Mbeikize Robert, Mirembe Isaac, Mirembe Paul Letitia, Mirembe Rachel, Mudong Maureen, Mugambwa Yusuf, Mugarura Edgar Emmanuel, Mugerwa Brian Paul, Mugisa Patricia, Mugisa Patrick, Mugisa Sylvia, Mugisha Bijila David, Mugoya Derek Eddie, Muhile Duncan, Muhumuza Daniel Nwabine, Muhumuza Philip, Mujoma Abdara Abduraham, Mukasa Siraje, Mukasa Sumaya Nakagoro, Muchibi Marion, Mukuru Joshua, Murumba Rashid, Murumbi Derek, Munanura Donald, Mungoma Samuel, Munyangoga Bonaventure, Murunji Patrick, Murunji Solomon, Musayuni Patience, Musimenta Sam, Musinguzi Ivan, Mutegaya Stephen Paul, Mutonyi Flavia, Mutiaba Joachim, Muwanguzi Frederick, Muyama Jemaima, Mwana Moiza Julius, Mwanje Lawrence, Mwase Aran, Mwesigwa Timothy, Mwesigwa Apollo, Mwine Amos Amanya, Mwine Gonzaga, Nabagesera Joanita, Nabagara Hanat, Nabaka Jackie, Nabare Tracy, Nabilyo Kanabe Doreen, Nabwato Doreen Grace, Nagai Claire, Naigaga Fina, Nairuba Anisha, Naisanga Rachel, Naiza Barbara, Nakabugo Hadia, Nakabugo Nasim, Nakabuye Justin, Nakachwa Lisa, Nakamanya Harriet, Nachibure Joanna Olga, Nachide Nora Nicole, Nachimbugwe Bridget, Nachilija Winfred, Nachseka Grace, Nakweira Ayub, Namara Amia, Namanya Aban, Namata Veronica, Namatovu Joel, Namatovu Oliver, Namanya Vivian, Namono Mire, Namhoma Mildred Docas, Namukasa Ann, Namurondo Evelyn Fiona, Namurondo Rachel, Namswitwa Khadija, Namuyomba Georgina, Nangobya Maria Teresa, Nankai Sulaina, Nanchinga Sara, Nancha Mauricia, Nansamba Olive, Nanteza Eunice Tusubira, Nantongo Namusa, Nasimbwa Vivian Rwanga, Nasozi Penelope Shakira, Ndajire Comfort Vanessa, Njita Abdara, Ngwije Tito, Namlungi Martha Kamuhanda, Ninsima Jacqueline, Nwamanya Timothy Henry, Nkasima Janet, Nkasimirwa Barnabas, Nowe Prisha, Nsereko Joseph, Nsovani David, Ntare Pamela Catherine, Ntungwari Shokorman, Nwagaba Shea, Nwagaba Mase Rachel, Nyakato Arinda Adera, Nyanga Elvis Ndikuno, Nyombi Solomon Ignatius, Odur Anthony, Ose Benjamin Oswan, Okudi Christopher, Okidi Christopher, Okoth Fred, Oloka John Brian, Oluka Faith Mary, Orupot Lillian Tukamureba, Ongwen John Timothy, Opio Frederick Moses Vic, Osinde Kasisi, Otim Christopher, Ouma Wanjala Kevin, Pario Nick Aketo, Rubihayo Brian, Rushongoza Derek Begumya, Rutaremwa John Paul, Sechibembe Abdara, Serwada Angela, Serwada Hannah, Speak Chrysostom, Nsasa Eddie, Nsekayo Jemaima, Nsembaja Asuman, Serwada Hannah, Tukakuwa Zulaika, Tukamuhebwa Jonah, Tumusime Jonathan, Tulyahabwe Michael, Tulyasingura Gaudius, Twagira Emmanuel Godwin, Twinebyona Charles, Twinomugisha Ivan, Tweyonjirwe Ruth, Wabomba Arafa, Wagona John, Wakabi Isabirye Joshua, Warugembe Ivana, Wandera Andrew, Wani Wilma Martin, Wanyenze Gloria, Waswa Fahad, Wataka Bon, and Zawede Joan.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I confer upon all those persons whose names have been read the postgraduate diploma in legal practice of the Lord Women's Center.
Our dear guest of honor, sir, as we look at our program, our next item is reading that the director LDC is supposed to honor or to present a list honoring those students who have attained a first class diploma in legal practice at the postgraduate bar course program. Like he had intimated earlier, this academic year, which is graduating, has had some innovations in grading the diplomas. We now have a first class, a second class, and a pass. So it's time to recognize those who have excelled in the category of first class for both campuses, Mbarara and Kampala. I now want to take the honor to invite the Director LDC to come and present to you a list of those who have qualified to be honored having passed with the first class at the bar course. Thank you, Mr. Director.
Thank you, our MC. Mr. Guest of Honor, I am privileged to present to you the 7 students who are on the Director's Honors list. They will be invited at an appropriate time to come and receive their recognition. And we have 3 students from the Mbarara campus and 4 from the Kampala campus who have got a first class in the postgraduate bar course. For the Kampala campus, we have Mwase Alan with a CGP of 4.0, Munanura Donald, 4.1, Gidongo Martin, 4.1, Galum Hussein Dawood, 4.25. From the Mbarara campus, which incidentally has a much smaller population than the Kampala one, we have 3 students, including the best student overall. I think, guest of honor, this vindicates our saying that the education we're giving in Mbarara is just as good as that, and Lira is as good as that at the Kampala campus. So from Mbarara campus, we have 3 first class. Rushongoza Derek, Twineviona Charles, who both have 4.05, and Kunyiga Derek Kizito with a 4.6 GP average, who is here with us. Congratulations. I present these students, and we shall be giving them their awards at an appropriate time. I thank you.
Thank you so much, our dear Director, for recognizing those students who were able to obtain a first class at the bar course. As we follow our program, Mr. Guest of Honor, it's now time to award the best performers on all the programs, which are a diploma in human rights, a diploma in law, and the postgraduate bar course. So at this juncture, I'm going to invite the director to, the acting director Mbarara campus, rather assistant director Mbarara campus, my land sister, Madame Lowa Rachel, to come and present and request the heads of department to present those names. Madam Rachel. Madam Rachel.
The guest of honor, allow me to present to you the students who excelled in the academic year 2019-2021. I'll begin with students in the Diploma in Law in Human Rights. And I would invite the head of department, Mr. Ngabirano, to come forward as we present the names. We have Ayebaziwe Loretta as the third best student. And she takes the LDC Director's Prize. Then second, we have Achayo Teddy as the second best student. And she takes the chairperson, LDC Management Committee Prize. Next, we have Ayeva Lejovia Knight, and she's the best overall student, and she takes the prize of the chairperson, Uganda Human Rights Commission. The next program is the Diploma in Law. The next program is the Diploma in Law. And we have Twambazimana Aaron. And he takes the LDC Director's Prize. Next we have Rukaye Mariko. And he equally takes the LDC Director's Prize. We have the second best student, Dandita Sheila, and she takes the chairperson LDC Management Committee Prize. The best overall student in the Diploma in Law is Rele Michael, and he takes the Minister of Public Service and Cabinet Affairs Prize. The next program is the postgraduate bar course. We have Rushongoza Derek Begumia, and is the best student in civil litigation, and he takes the Acadia Advocates Prize. Next we have Katol Roman Peter, and is the best student in corporate and commercial practice, and he takes the LDC Stroke Agava Muhire Prize. Next, we have Wanyenze Gloria. She's the best student in triad advocacy, and she takes the Inspector General of Government prize. Next, we have Ayebazibu Ediga as the best student in criminal proceedings, and he takes the Director of Public Prosecutions prize. Next, we have Munanura Donald as the 4th best student, and he takes the prize of the Uganda Law Society. Next, we have Gidongo Martin as the 3rd best student, and he takes the Principal Judge's prize. We have Galam Hussein Dawood as the 2nd best student, and he takes the Attorney General's prize. Then we have Kunyiga Derek, my own student from Barara. The best overall student. And he takes the Chief Justice's prize.
Wow, a big congratulations to our excellent students. Mr. Guest of Honor, sir, following our program, it's the time to listen to your voice guidance. At this moment, I'm going to request the Director of Development Center to ask the Chairperson Management Committee to invite Your Honor to come and address the graduates. Mr. Director, sir.
I have the simple task of inviting my Lord, the Chair of the Management Committee, to invite the guests of honor to address this gathering. My Lord.
Guest of honor, sir, mine is an even simpler task, is to invite you to come and address us. Thank you.
My Lord Chair, Management Committee, members of the Management Committee, Madam President of Uganda Law Society, the Director, Law Development Center, all protocol observed. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to officiate on this very important function. To me, it's very important because it honors the new mode we are in, and we hope everyone who is not here understands why he or she is not here. But that does not derogate from the importance of the function. I also like to congratulate all those who have graduated today and to encourage others who remain with a few assignments to complete their courses, to be on the alert, come and complete them, and they will graduate. A lot has been said about performance for this particular year, but I think it should not be put out of proportion, because we all know, those of us who have been in education, that not every performance year after is equal to the other. There are always divergences depending on circumstances. Of course, there are factors that have been talked about which we have to take into account. The fact that we have a number of teaching institutions that have mushroomed because of the liberalization policy. And some of them actually sprang up before the regulatory system was in place. So there are weaknesses. Some are due to the regulatory system, and others are extraneous. I have been part of the regulatory system at the Law Council level, but we have encountered problems because there are other levels of regulation. There is, for example, the National Council for Education, which licenses universities, and they have their own criteria. And sometimes they don't carry out due consultation. It's now changing because we are working very well now. We're beginning to work very well with the National Council for Education to ensure that the regulatory system is strengthened, and so that the products from the law schools, the various law schools, are up to date, and the Law Development Center concentrates on its practical training rather than giving supplementary academic training, which should not be the case. Mr. Director, sir, yes, we undertake to visit the campus in Lira as well as in Mbarara. we are impressed that the best BACO student comes from the Mbarara campus, over which honestly we had doubts whether we should have tried to start decentralizing the BACOS. We had doubts from the context of human and physical resources. But I think those doubts are no longer justified. All the same, we'll be there to see what is going on, as well as in Lira. Madam President, it's a worrying trend in our education system in that since we started training, we are training lawyers for the same purpose. That is why they concentrate in being in Kampala. I have argued and argued, but no people have listened, that I think we should refocus our education system, law education system at university level to make sure that we produce lawyers of different callings, some of whom can assist the people in the rural areas instead of coming to concentrate in the capital city where the bread is assumed to be, but something which we can discuss with the teaching institutions at the university level. When I was invited, I was requested to talk about the issue of ethics and integrity. And I've chosen to talk about whether ethics can actually be taught and whether ethical conduct can be derived from what is taught. But the issue of integrity is very worrying in our profession, and I think the more we talk about it, the better. I'll begin with a story which is told about a Japanese gentleman who many years ago in the suburb of London at around midnight, when there was no traffic and no traffic wardens, the gentleman wanted to cross the road, but the light turned red. So he stopped. Meanwhile, there were others, people who were in a hurry. They came, passed by him. They, of course, glanced on both sides of the road to make sure there was absolutely no traffic. They crossed and disappeared. The Japanese gentleman waited until the light turned green. He bowed and crossed. Now, it can be said that the Japanese and the others behaved very well. You can even say they behaved ethically because they appreciated, both of them appreciated the traffic rule. It could have been an ethical rule, but it was a traffic rule. They appreciated it, the objective, not to disrupt traffic and not to cause injury to self. That's why the others glanced at both sides of the road and disappeared, leaving the Japanese to wait for green. Of course, they both confirmed, but the Japanese confirmed in a morally higher level. So that explains the essence of ethics. which is limited at rules, because these rules can be followed, and sometimes they can be neglected through loopholes, and perhaps through the feeling that no one is going to enforce the deviation. But, of course, as a good lawyer, as we shall see, ethical conduct goes beyond the rules, but that will come. Do we have a problem of integrity in this country? I think no one of you will doubt. If you want the statistics, go to the Law Council. The number of complaints against breaches of ethical rules have been increasing year by year, which is worrying. Of course, this could be rationalized on the basis that the population of lawyers is increasing, and hence you expect an equivalent increase in deviations. I don't think that's a consolation, really. But we have a big problem there. And therefore, it's important on an occasion like this to talk about learning and living with ethics, which is the title of my presentation to you today. There's cynicism about teaching ethics, and I'm sure all of you who have taught ethics know about this, but I think that worry arises because there's a concentration in teaching rules that are found in ethical codes without giving adequate direction. It's the same method which the colonialists, because some of us were taught by colonialists, the colonialist moralists, religious people, thinking that we are actually very primitive, almost next to animals, we had no morals. They came and taught us religion and morality through the 10 Commandments and the sanctions for breach. If you breach the 10 Commandments, you are likely to go into an everlasting fire that will burn you endlessly. Now, this was not a very good way of teaching, but it was misguided because they thought we had no morality at all. If they had known that most of our values in our African communities were in consonance with those 10 Commandments, probably they would have had a different approach. Because this one didn't do any good. You know, at a young age, we were impressed. Imagining yourself to be burnt, surely you must behave. But as you grow older and you start actualizing this fire that lasts forever and which does not destroy human flesh, then you had doubts about this type of training. It didn't make you less of a moral person because of the basic values you had, but it made the teaching faulty. So take this to teaching of ethics through rules. The same problem could arise, but that teaching will be left in the classroom, and people will either rely on their basic values or simply go wild. I would propose that we emphasize, and I emphasize to you, the graduates. Are they now graduates? You graduates, I'd forgotten that I'd conferred upon you. I emphasize that you try and appreciate, first of all, why the profession is regulated. Many professions are regulated, but you concentrate on your profession. Then you appreciate why you should live ethically. And I have presented a paper to the director which could be circulated. So I'll summarize. The main reason for regulation, of course, in the profession is because of the information asymmetry and the externalities that arise out of practice. Asymmetry because all the knowledge is heaped in favor of the practitioner, and the ordinary client has very little to contribute but to trust the practitioner, rely on the expertise and also the good faith and honesty of the practitioner. Secondly, legal practice, unlike so many other professions, has a lot of important externalities which impact the society in terms of promoting the rule of law, human rights, and even good governance. And therefore, we need us to see that we behave. We are persons of integrity. Otherwise, without regulations, a lot of problems could arise and abuses. Secondly, I also call upon you to appreciate the responsibilities that you as a lawyer are going to bear. These responsibilities are many. I've just listed a few. But if you appreciate this, then I think you are on the right way to also appreciate the codes of conduct, but more importantly, to proceed properly or morally or without, or ethically, without even due regard to the rules of conduct. First, we have a responsibility to clients, and this is emphasized in the codes. We don't need to dwell upon this. The problem, of course, is that, as the president, my president has said, many of us, you'll find in practice, do not treat the client as king, but as a source of revenue. You see that this person now is a commodity to be exploited, which is the wrong attitude. Otherwise, if the customer is treated as king, there are a lot of things that are not even in the code that you should actually relate with your clients. How many of us lawyers tell clients, are brave enough to tell clients, a potential client, that I'm sorry, the instructions you are giving me in that area, I'm not competent, but I can propose Mr. X who is competent. Or we have an assistant who is competent. Are you comfortable? If you treat the client as king, this would be the first thing. But if you carry out research amongst us, you might find that this is not an ethical rule in the code, but it's something that arises out of your responsibility to treat the client as your employer, your king, and not as a source of revenue. You have also responsibility to the justice system in which you operate, by making sure that your practice is in accordance with the rule of law, with the canons of justice, and also to cooperate with the bench. Now, rules of etiquette are not in the ethical code. And I'm very worried about our etiquette these days. Very much worried, because you get young lawyers, you are appearing with him or her, and you are waiting for your case, and you see this lawyer indulging in an altercation with let's say, my lord there, almost quarreling. When I was young, I would pull the lawyer's gown and say, please. But some lawyers wouldn't even listen. When I was taught ethics, not ethics, we were never taught ethics. In fact, the ethical code is after our practice. We are taught about etiquette, and this is something that was emphasized. And the best case I remember happened in Tanzania, where a lawyer, probably of my age, who had been in practice probably the same year like me, was appearing before a magistrate, and they had some exchange. And then this advocate went on and said, but who are you? You are just a child. I was practicing law before you were born. I can see why senior advocates shouldn't even be allowed to practice in the lower courts. So the magistrate looked at this old man and immediately cited him for contempt, which was confirmed all the way to the highest court. But before a judge, you cannot argue. You may be older than him. You may have taught him, but it is a judge. It's my Lord. So please be careful about etiquette. Next responsibility is to the profession. Big responsibility to the profession, especially by way of maintaining the dignity of the profession. That's why you'll find that in regulation we emphasize office decorum, we emphasize in etiquette, we emphasize proper dress, and so on. It's not simply for show that we put on suits. It's because of the dignity of the profession. And in this case, this includes being courteous to fellow advocates. The responsibility to the public is another. Of course, this includes providing legal services on instructions, but it is much more. As my president will tell you, the Law Society has a responsibility of ensuring that the government is advised, but also the public is well sensitized to their rights. And it's for this reason that we have compulsory pro bono. Let me talk about compulsory pro bono because it is being fought strenuously. I'll talk about it because I'm the regulation. Probably if I had been on the other side, I would have also entered the fray and said, why force us to give free legal services? This is, they call it what? Forced labor, and so on. But it's a responsibility to the public, and it arises also out of our African values that we treat others as ourselves, as part of humanity. So if there are vulnerable persons, people who cannot afford, I think it's quite proper that a lawyer, in providing meeting responsibility to the public, should give free legal services to a limited extent. No one would force you to devote your time, your life to giving free aid. There are other matters in this line that, like advancement, which can be debated. Why, for example, are advancements restricted? This is a matter that can be discussed. But the reason here again is because of the responsibility to the public. If you want practice, of course, it is necessary for you to tell the public where you are practicing from, so that they can find you. The other information they can find. And these days we are lax about advancement on the electronic media. No one prevents you from elaborating your practice on the internet and so on. But the objection would be not against advancements generally, but against advancements that are misleading. Because one could profess expertise which is not verifiable. And in most cases, it is not verifiable as far as legal practice is concerned. No one can verify whether I'm an expert in divorce and can give you a divorce within 2 hours. That would be a very misleading advancement. And that is where the regulation comes in. Now, my last point, summarizing that paper, which is fairly long, is which type of lawyer do we need? A lawyer who is compliant with ethical rules, or a good lawyer? From the paper I presented, there are many responsibilities, aspects of responsibilities that have not crystallized into the ethical code. And a lawyer who simply complies with the ethical code is fine. But we need a lawyer who is beyond. A good lawyer abides regardless of the ethical code or even sanctions. This is because norms of ethical conduct are attached to and arise by virtue of the values of society. Values are the conceptualizations or beliefs of society that some behavior is or is not good, right, moral, or desirable. These values evolve naturally with the developments in society. Some of these core values may be transposed into rules, ethical rules. Others remain at the level of beliefs and practice, but are equally important. In most African societies, these values arise on a communal basis because ours is a communal society. And they arise because we treat all humans as important. I can dare you, all of you who are graduating today, that I can't find a community that you come from that has one of its values being dishonesty. If there's anyone, even in Karamoja where they conduct cattle rustling, that's not dishonesty, that is their economic activity. It's not that they have been inculcated in the value of simply stealing. Things, of course, are changing because these values change with the development in society. So the difference between ethical conduct and integrity, which we should emphasize, what is that difference? Integrity is the status of having strong moral principles derived from the core values of your society. The person of integrity acts consistently in compliance with patterns of behavior recognized by society, the community, or the profession. Ethical conduct can consist simply of compliance with the written rules, but integrity goes beyond the written rules and also conforms with the unwritten rules, which is in the form of values. This Japanese at the traffic light would have crossed the red just like the others. He would not have caused disruption in traffic, and his life was not in danger. And more important, there was no law enforcer around. And that leads me to recall another story of which I witnessed. As an old boy of my school, we had a function, and one of the old boys was tasked to talk about integrity. This was a medical expert, and you know science don't talk much, so he didn't have much to say. He talked, but in the end he said, gentlemen, this is a boys' school. Gentlemen, integrity consists in doing the right thing when no one is watching. And I've adopted that as a maxim of this paper, to say to you that whenever you are going to act, let your conscience tell you, is this the right thing? Even if no one is watching, if you can do the right thing when no one is watching, you're a person of integrity. Am I understood? So for you, the lawyer in practice, and you who are going to practice, please recall the core values that they were subject of your upbringing and live by them. And also recall the sanctions, our traditional sanctions of shaming society, the society which you come from. To me, that's a very serious sanction. So for us in practice, let's go back to the core values. For those in a training, in regulation, again, let's go back to those values and refocus accordingly. If, for example, we had the occasion to amend the code of conduct, I would propose that we have some directive principles of ethical conduct there, emphasizing integrity. I've seen some codes which begin by defining integrity, so that when you are going to read those values, you know why there's an ethical code. And the other directive principle would be the objectives of regulation. If we can do that and always remind ourselves why we should behave ethically, I think there will be a great improvement. So I thank you very much. It is a dry topic, but I hope that is being understood. But I can see that you have listened attentively, and I'm very, very happy that you have done so. I thank you. Let me again thank the Law Development Center for this tireless effort of training our new lawyers. I had to come for reasons. One, I am among the first teachers at this institution. And I recall teaching a class which was very rowdy. I was teaching tax law, and the class was rowdy. And a few of them actually looked older than me, so I was a bit scared. But eventually, things went well. We examined them, and they appreciate up to today. But secondly, because I'm in regulation, what happens here is very dear to me, because we are in the same business of assuring standards in the legal profession. That's why I'm very happy. In fact, I have no qualms about failures. Failing is a process of succession. So those who have failed, treat yourself as being in a process of succeeding and come back. I would also like to thank you all, the staff, teaching and management of the institution, for upholding this institution and improving upon it. When we came here, we had only the block. It used to be a labor college donated by international, they call it labor what? Labor organization. And I think we stole it and turned it into a Lord Development Center because of the need, but also there were other factors. But now it is grand, and I can see a lot of construction going on. This is a mark of great activity. Thank you very much, and keep on the good job.
Let me take the opportunity to thank our guest of honor, the Landy Professor, not only for coming to preside over the ceremony, but to share that piece of wisdom. Indeed, while LDC has done its best to train and, in fact, give our students the key to practicing their relevant areas, the guest of honor, in his remarks, has given the principles through which our graduates can successfully use the key. Without ethics, without values, without integrity, the profession you have or the qualification you have earned will not be helpful to you and the society. So it's those principles which has enabled the Landy Professor to live and carry out a flawless career spanning over 50 years. Professor, we can't thank you more. I was especially touched when you defined for us what integrity means. The tendency to look into yourself and do right even if no one is watching. That one is a very important principle, my dear graduates. So as we wind up the program, Mr. Guest of Honor and our invited guests, it's my pleasure to communicate to you that the director, LDC, is inviting you to the Jewelers Hall down there, where you'll be requested to sign the visitor's book together with him. And he has extended the invitation to also all our guests here, including our outstanding students. Please feel free to join the procession to the Jewelers Hall. I also have a communication to make from the Office of the Academic Registrar relating to the issuance of certificates and diplomas. He has asked me to say that his office is doing all it can do to enable you receive your documents, and that is going to circulate an email giving the details as to when you will expect those documents. So kindly keep patient and calmness as you engage with the office of the academic registrar. I thank you, and I now want to request our DJs to play us for the national anthem, marking the close of the ceremony. The order of the anthem will be LDC anthem, East African, and then national anthem. DJs.
Spirit